Okay, so we'll get started. So yesterday we saw how to use if else, right? We'll continue talking about that for some more time. So first of all, okay, when it is used, right? So whenever I said we have to check for a condition. So let's say you have a number. You have a number which is 5. And I need to check if this number is positive or not. So how do I check if a number is positive or not? What is the condition to check if number is positive or not? Greater than 0, right? So I'll say if num greater than 0, right? So if followed by condition, and this condition has to be true, then it will go inside this. So I'll say print, number is positive, right? And I go ahead and run it. You see, 5 is positive. If I make it -5, nothing would be printed, right? Because this condition is false, it's not going in. So here I can say elif, okay, num less than 0. Then we can say number is negative, correct? Now when it is 0, okay, none of this will work, right? Because this is also false, this is also false. So for 0, we'll say else. Else means anything other than the two conditions. Anything other than two conditions is obviously equal to 0, right? Greater than 0, less than 0. That means it has to be equal to 0. So here I'll say print, okay, number that is 0 is neither positive nor negative. Okay, so when you run it, see, you get 0 is neither positive nor negative. This is how you can check for multiple conditions. Okay, so instead of num, let me use what we learned yesterday, input, right? What is input? Yeah, to enter the value from the user, get the value from the user. So I say enter a number, right? Okay. Now if I run it, will it work? Will it work? I say 5, right? So greater than is not supported between string. This is num is string and this is integer. See, you can compare two string. You can compare two numbers, but you can't compare a number with a string. You can compare a string and compare a number, but you can't compare number with a string. So we have to convert this into integer, obviously, right? You can do it in the same line. Okay. So now it's going to work. Okay. Enter a number. I say 5. It says 5 is positive. Enter a number. I say -100. Okay. -100 is negative. I run it. Okay. I'll say 0. And it says it's neither positive nor negative. Okay. So this is how, or this is what we have seen yesterday. Now we'll add one more twist to it. Okay. So let's say we'll write the statement for the program. Okay, if you have to write multi-line text, see, hash is for single line. Okay, I can put any comment. Then next line again, if you have to put comment, I have to put hash. Now you can use triple quotation. Okay, triple quotation is used to have multi-line comment. Actually, triple quotation is used to take multi-line text. Multi-line text. Okay, so what we are saying is we are taking a multi-line text, but we are not using it. It becomes a comment. Okay, so I'm going to say here, write a program to input a value from the user and check if it's positive, negative, or 0. Okay, so this is what I have written, and okay, this is the code for that program. Okay, now there's an extension to this program. It says if it's positive, that means, okay, we're talking about this part. Okay, if it is positive, we are talking about this part. We are not talking about these two parts. Okay, we're not talking about these two parts. We're talking about this part only. So I'm saying if it is positive, then check if it's odd or even. So if it is positive, only then you check if it is odd or even. So we have to do some work, right, to address this. That work has to be done when number is positive. That means that work has to happen here. Okay. So I'll put another if. If num. Now, how do I check if it is even or odd? If it is divisible, right? So modulo 2. Remainder is divide by 2 and check the remainder. So if num modulo 2 equal to 0, that means it is even. Because when you divide by 2 and remainder is 0, it is multiple of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So print will say num, then we'll say is even also. Okay. Else, here only two conditions. So we don't have to put elif. Print is odd also. So now when you run it, and if I say 5, so it says 5 is positive and 5 is odd also. Now let's say I want to print them in one single line. Okay. Then see, I cannot combine these two print statements because this print statement is here and this print statement is inside another if. So I can't combine, but I can use this AND logic. So num is positive and I will say comma and equal to space, and or maybe you don't give space, okay, just and equal to nothing. And here I'll say I'll remove num. Okay, 5 is positive and also even. Okay, same logic I'll apply here. And also odd. So now when you run it, and if I enter 100, you see it says 100 is positive and also even. Right? Okay. So this is how you can write if condition inside another if. So this if is inside this if. Correct? And this if, line number 9 if, is will be called only if 7, line number 7 if is true. Because then you're allowed to go inside. Again, you can have another if condition. You can have more if condition. So if it is even, if even, or for even numbers, check if they are multiple of 4, right? Multiple of 4. So what I'll do, even is this. So the if will come here. So I'll say if, okay, num mod 4 equal to 0, we'll say print num is divisible by 4, full stop. Now when I run 98, 98 is positive and even, but it's not divisible by 4. When I say 100, so see, 100 is positive and also even, 100 is divisible by 4. right? So you can have any number of if inside if inside if inside if. Okay. So take an assignment here. Write a program to input 3 sides of a triangle and check if they are right angled, isosceles, okay, right angled, isosceles, scalene, or equilateral. Okay, how do you check if they're right angled? So how do you check? I'm asking you to enter 3 sides value, right? So how do you know it is right angled? Pythagoras theorem, yes. How to use Pythagoras theorem? The bigger side square is equal to sum of square of other 2 sides. Right? Right. So if one side is 2, other side is 3, let's say 2 centimeter and 3 centimeters. So the third side has to be square of 2, 4 plus 9, 13, root of 13. If the third side is root of 13, then you say it is right angle triangle. So obviously it can't be equilateral, but right angle triangle can be isosceles and also can be scalene. Equilateral means all sides are equal, it's 60 degree, right? So 60 degree, all sides are 60 degree, then obviously it can't be right angle triangle. So here you have right angle. So first you check for isosceles, scalene, and equilateral. 3 sides equal, equilateral. 2 sides equal, isosceles. All 3 sides are different, scalene. And for scalene and isosceles, you have to check for right angle also. Okay. Okay. Now there is way in Python where you can actually use one line, okay, to perform simple if else if. See, when you have to deal with multiple lines, a condition like this, when in if you have multiple conditions, then one line if condition you cannot use. Okay, but if it is simple, like to check if number is positive or not, right? So if that is one line only. Okay, so for example, let's say, let me take another example. I don't want to repeat the same example. So let's say you have an example to check, let's say A and B. So you have A comma B equal to 10 comma 5. Okay, I need to check if A is greater or B is greater. Okay, I need to check if A is greater or B is greater, right? So what I'll do, I will write if A greater than B, then you will say print A is greater, or instead of A, I'll put A outside and I'll say A is greater, correct? Else, simple one, okay? Else I'll say print B is greater. Okay. So in this case, obviously, A will be greater, right? 10 is greater. Okay. Now the same thing I can perform using one line. Okay. So how do you perform? In this case, okay, we say here, what is your objective? Objective is to print either A or B, correct? So you will say here, let's say result equal to, okay. Now this should be, okay, what if A is true? So what is, which value is coming when we say A, if is true? A, right? A should come when you say, that if is true. So you'll say result equal to A. Okay, result equal to A. Then you say if A greater than B. Okay, and then you say else B. Print, and you can say result is greater. So when you have, okay, so when you have a situation where one output, if else condition has only one line to execute, right? Only one line to execute. Okay, like this case. So if has one line, else has one line. Then you can use this one-way option. Okay, this is what you should do when if is true. So first you are putting the output. What should be inside if goes before if. Then if condition, else output. So this should start with output, end with output. Start with true output, end with false output. In between, if condition else. Since, see, if I have to do 3 lines, then I cannot do it here. Since it's only one line, I can do it in short form. So this is called short form or one line. Okay. What we call that? Nested if. Okay. So we call this as nested if conditions. Okay. Nested means one inside another. Okay. And here it is your short form of one line if else condition. Okay. Many times we will be probably using small. So in that case, you can simply put it in this format. Okay. So with that, we finish our if conditions. Okay. We'll do loop also next. And after we'll do loop, we'll do some programs where both if and loops are required together. Okay. After finishing loop, it is like level 2. Okay. So the programmers and non-programmers, it's up to loop only. They will have advantage over non-programmers because they would have done if and else conditions multiple times. So if you do if and loops perfectly, now you are on par with people who have done programming before. Because after loop, everything that we'll do is new, is something different to Python. Okay. But the base condition, the base logic that we build is based on just conditions and loops. That's all. Okay. So that's why condition and loops are very important for non-programmers. Okay. Practice. Okay. And if you understand these two concepts, okay. So one concept in if, two concept in loops. Okay. We have for loop and while loop. 3 concept, you do it, then enough. Okay. Then you cannot say that I don't know programming, I'm new to programming. Okay. Because that is what the programmers would have done it for now. After that, everything is unique to Python. So whether you are Java developer or C++ developer or fresher, it's the same complexity. Okay. They will be staying ahead of you till loops because they would have done multiple programs on if and loops so far. Okay. So that's why it is very important. Okay. That will build your foundation in programming. Okay. So let's take one more example and then we'll move to loops. Give me an example. What do you think we can do? Let's say, okay. We have done for two values, right? A and B. Now let's say, let's take example of 3 values and check which number is highest. Okay, so this is one example. So you have A, B, C, okay, equal to 10, 15, 5. Okay, it should tell us whether A is higher, B is higher, C is highest. Okay, I'm just looking at one value, highest value. I'm not looking at other two. One value. Okay, so we'll do this in multiple ways. Okay, so first, okay, so what I'll do is I'll show you what I'm trying to do here first. So you have A, B, C. You have A, B, C. You can't compare all the 3 values together. So we'll start with comparing 2 values. Okay. If I compare 2 value A and B, okay, so you'll say if A greater than B. Okay. True, false. True, false means if is true. False means you're getting into else. So if A is greater than B, true, then you know that B is not greater for sure. Only A is greater. Then you compare A with C. Right? Now when you compare A with C, then we know that A is greater. So obviously, now you don't have to check, you just say print A. False. False means what? That means B is greater. Right? B is greater than A. So now you check for B greater than C. Okay. So here also 2 conditions, right? True. True is A greater than C. False means, now see, C is greater than A. Should we not check C with B also? No, not required. No, A is greater than B. And if C is greater than A, obviously C is greater than B also. A is greater than B and C is greater than A. So obviously C is greater than B also. We don't have to check for C and B. So you can say C. Now if B greater than C, if it is true, okay, then B is greatest, right? Otherwise it is C which is greatest, right? So first condition we're checking A, B. Then if it is true, we are checking AC. If it is true, we are checking for other one, right? So now let's see using different ways how we can do it. So the way we actually saw, that is called as flowchart. Actually, you know, you are see, when we are doing complex stuff, first you have to solve it on paper and then you take it to the programming. So we solved on paper. Now we are trying to solve using our Python. So first, what did we say? We checked if A greater than B. Then you say print. Okay, you say print. Okay, you don't have to say print. If A is greater than B, then you have to again check if A greater than C. Now I'm going to say print. A is highest. Okay, so see, I have said if A is greater than B, then and now I'm checking this is true part, right? A greater than C. Obviously, C is greater than highest. A is highest. Now, if I go back and I say else means what? Okay, that means A is not greater. That means C is greater. That means C is highest. correct? Now, so this is the case when A is greater than B. Now for this if, we have to write else, correct? So here we know that B is greater. So what I'll do, I'll copy and paste here because I don't want to type again and again and again. So here we know that B is greater. B is greater than A. So now I'm going to check for B. Is B greater than C also? If answer is yes, then you say B. Otherwise, you say C is highest. Okay. Now when you run it, oops, base A. Oh, I think I entered wrong A here. Okay. The first example. Now you see here, it says 15 is highest. 15 is your B. If I make C as highest, let's say, when you run it, okay, see, it says 50 is highest. If I make 100 here, A, now when you run it, it says A is highest, right? So this is how you will have to design your program, right? Now you can do using this one line also. How? So if if A greater than B, else B, right? So result has either A or B. Result has either A or B, correct? In the next line, what I'll do, I will put result only, and if A is greater than B, okay, now what we'll do, we'll, instead of comparing, so between A and B, we know the result is highest. Between A and B, result is highest. Whatever is the highest will be the value of result. So I don't need to use A and B. Okay, for everywhere you use A as result. A as result. And B will be your C. Right? Now you can say print. Okay. Result is highest. So now when you run it, see, 100 is highest. This is coming from one line. Did you understand? Any question here? Watch carefully. I'm comparing A and B. See, here I need to know value A and B. That's why I'm checking multiple times. But here you see, I just need to know which is highest. And that value will be in result. If A is highest, A value will go to result. If B is highest, B value will go to result. So in a way, you are combining two conditions as one. See, here we are checking for B and we are checking for A. Here not required because whatever is greater, we are putting into result. And now I'm comparing with result with C and then putting same value in result. So what happens? The value of result will be overwritten. So you can take a new variable or you can use the same old variable. So if result here is 50, result here will be overwritten with 100. This result will be 50 only, coming from previous step. But when it goes to the next step, it changes its value. So I'm saying result, okay? Whatever result can have A value or B value or C value, I don't care. So same logic, you can deliver within two line here. Not only that, we have done logical operators, right? So you can use logical operators also, like if A greater than B and A greater than C, right? So see, if, and what did I say? If should be evaluated to true, right? So you can use logical operator. First, I'm comparing A greater than B and A greater than C. Okay, A greater than B and A greater than C. Okay, if A greater than B and A greater than C, then you can say print A is highest. Okay, so here I'll put 3, okay, just to indicate that this is being used. Here I'll put 2. And if it is not there, you know that it is coming from this one. Just to indicate from which line it is coming. Okay. Here I'll say elif. A greater, now we'll talk about B. B greater than A and B greater than C. Okay. Then we will say print B is highest. Can I say else C is highest? If A is not highest, B is not highest, obviously C has to be highest. Correct? Can I say that? Else print is highest, right? Okay. Now you see this. When I run it, okay, all three are giving 100 is highest. Now what happens, okay, if I make, let's say I'll make this as 10 or let it be 100 and I'll make, yeah, okay, let me make these as 100 and 100. So I'm making A and B as 100, C as 50. Then what happens? Let's run in and see. So see, first two gave us correct answer. But what happened to the third one? Right? Okay. See here you have if else, if else, if else. And we are only checking about greater than. Okay. So if we are checking for greater than, then what will be in the else? Less than or equal to. Opposite of greater than is less than or equal to, not less than. Less than or equal to. So in a way, when we are implementing using nested condition or one line condition, we are checking for both greater than and less than. In a way, we're checking for both greater than and less than. Okay. So, greater than, less than, and equal to. All three condition. See, here I'm checking for greater than. Then obviously this means if it is less than or equal to. Now, if they're equal to, I can take B. If A and B are equal, I can take B, no problem. So it works well because you are without mentioning it, you're taking care of equal to sign also because opposite of greater than is equal to less than. But here you see, we are only checking for greater than greater than. We have never checked for, we are not checking for equal to, right? We are not checking for equal to anywhere. So what happens when you say A and B are equal, this condition becomes false. If this is false, this will not get executed, right? Both and means what? It should be, both should be equal to. So this will not get executed. Okay, it comes here. This also becomes false because B is not greater than A. This becomes false. Then it comes to else. And we are saying by blindly we are saying C is greater. No. Okay. A and B both are greater. But since we are not comparing for A and B both, we went into else and saying C is greater. Okay. So you have to check for equal to also. Okay. Now when you run it, 100 is highest, right? Okay. So now let's make it C is 500 and B as 500. Does it work? Obviously it worked. Now let's make, see when you're testing it, you guys from testing, so you know that, right? You have to test all the conditions and more so the boundary conditions. So now when you test it, you see here, 500 is greatest. Now our program is working. So you can use multiple conditions in one if using and or, just like the way we did yesterday. Right? So you can use nested if, you can use and or, and you can use one line also. Whatever you think is convenient and easy for you, can do it. Oh, that is for the previous example. First, This is for this one. Look at the screen. User input 1 is for this, no? For the yeah. Make sense? Okay. Any question here so far? All good so far? Everyone? You'll not have any problem? Okay. So I'll give you a few more assignments. Okay. Condition. I'll upload it on that location. Please watch. Okay. Okay. So now we will move to loops. What is the purpose of loop? Yes. Okay. So purpose of loop is to run anything more than once. If I want to print hello, okay, I want to print hello 10 times. So if I want to print hello 10 times, okay, instead of saying print hello, print hello, print hello, okay, you can put, you write only once and put that in a loop, okay. So then it will print 10 times. So there are, so when you ask, when you repeat something more than one, you have a question? No problem. No error. No, see, I'm not talking about the line. Character. You should start from the first character, not the first line. You can give in second line, no problem. Did you understand? Okay. So see, this program, okay, it doesn't matter whether you start from first line or not. What matters is it start from the first position. This will give you error. Okay. This will give you error. Okay. So I've updated this program at the same location. So when you refresh the link, you should be able to see those programs. Okay. So I was saying that, we need to, when you have to do something repeatedly, you have to do it multiple times. Correct? So there are two ways of repeating stuff. Okay. One way of repeating is when you know how many times you need to repeat. Okay. So I know how many times I need to repeat. Okay. So I'll tell you, oh, do it 10 times. Okay. Do it 15 times. Okay. So do it 10 times and do it 15 times. You know that it has to be 10 times or 15 times. Second way is when you don't know how many times. Okay. So when I say when you don't know how many times, what does that mean? Right? But then how will you repeat it? Okay. So look at this example. You are going to a college and you ask me, okay, I need to go to this college. How do I go? I can tell you two ways. One, keep going in this direction for 2 kilometers. You will see the college on your left hand side. So here you know exactly how much distance to cover. So you'll go, without looking at left, right, you will look at the speedometer and you'll see, oh, 2 kilometers reached. Okay, you will not look around because I told you exactly 2 kilometers, so you'll go for 2 kilometers. Second scenario is, okay, I tell you keep going in this direction till you see a red building on the left side. So I have not told you how many kilometers, what is the distance. What did I say? Keep going till you see a red building. So here you don't know how much distance to travel, but you have a condition. So when I said when you don't know, you know a condition. Okay. There has to be, see, you keep doing it, but you have to stop sometime. Okay. So so there has to be a condition to stop. So either you have a condition or you know how many times you have to run the loop. So we have two types of loops. Okay. One is called for loop. So you have for loop. For loop is used when you know exactly how many times to repeat. Do it 10 times, do it 15 times. Give me 10 numbers, reprint hello 10 times. These are example of knowing how many times to repeat, and you will use for loop. Second condition is while. Okay. When you don't know exactly how many times, but you know the KNOW, when you know when to stop. Okay, when you don't know exactly how many times, but you know when to stop. Okay, so when you know when to stop, okay, then you will stop it. Otherwise, see, you need to know when to stop, whether you know how many times to run or condition. Otherwise, okay, it will go on forever. When it go on forever, we call it as infinite loop. Okay. Now I tell you what is the problem with the first one, for loop. When I tell you, okay, keep going in that direction for 2 kilometers, you'll see the college on the left side. What can go wrong there? Correct. Distance can go wrong, right? If it is 1.99 kilometer also, you will miss it. Because I told you 2 kilometers. So you will not look left, right. You will keep going for 2 kilometers. It is faster, obviously, than while. Because in while, you take a step and look left. You take one more step, look left. Take one more step and look left. Because you don't know. It could be in one step or it can be in 1,000 step. So every step you're looking around for the college. So your while is slower. For loop faster because you know 10 times, right? You will not even look for condition. You keep going for 10 times. But problem there is if you cross the college, or let's say college is in next road, you will not be able to reach. First case, you will cross it because your focus is 2 kilometer. Even if it is 1.99, you will lose it. Okay. Second thing is college can be at 2.01 kilometer, just 10 meters away. But you said 2 meters, so you 2 kilometers, you reach 2 kilometers, you'll see, you don't find it, you come back saying, I could not find the college. But college could have been just one step more, but you would not take one step more. So problem is if the actual answer lies somewhere around, you will miss it. Whether it is just before or just after, you will miss it. So you need to know exact distance, or you need to know exact how many times you have to repeat. If you're repeating 20 times gives you answer, if you repeat 19 times or 21 times, you will lose the answer. You won't get the answer. What can go wrong in while? Condition. Okay. I'll say look for red color building on left side. The red color building is condition. But let's say if actual colored building is blue. So you will see left, you will see a blue building. No, it is not red. Okay. So if condition is wrong, like you'll go on forever. You enter into a infinite loop. Infinite loop means forever. Okay, you're going on forever. Okay. So the problem with for loop is if you do not give the repetition correctly, you will not get the right answer. Your loop will stop, okay, but you will not get the right answer. Problem with while loop is if you don't give condition correctly, your loop will run forever. Okay. So we'll see how to implement that in our Python. So loop. Okay. So to understand for loop, we also need to understand another function called range. How many functions have we done so far? What are the functions that we have done so far? Ankit? Print input? Type? These are the main thing, but we have done a lot more. We have done integer, int of. When you do input, we do int of, right? We did binary of to convert into binary. Hex, float, oct, bool, complex, right? 5 there, then binary hexaoctal 3 8 plus 3 11. We have done almost like 11 functions so far. This is next one, range. Okay, range function generates range of values. Range function generates range of values. So how does it generate value is, you'll say, you will define a value, define the starting point, ending point, and by how much to increment. So range, okay, if I put bracket, you know it's a function. Range generates range of values from given position to the final position with, let me put this in the next slide, with given increment. Okay, what does this mean? So see, when you say given position, starting, okay, is always equal to, final position is always less than. Okay, it means that if I say starting position is 1, and this is the function, the way you give, what you call syntax. What is syntax in programming language? Okay, what does syntax mean in programming language? Way of writing, grammar. Okay, so it is like grammar, correct? And so, okay, so when you say grammar, you can't ask question why. Okay, you have to follow whatever rule it has given. Okay, you have to follow the rule. Okay. Okay, so I was saying that range will take 3 values. Okay, so you say range, start, and increment. And what did I say? Start is equal to, end is less than. Okay, so if I say range, okay, 1 comma 50 comma 6, this is going to generate values from 1. So first value is 1. What is second value? 1 plus 6, 7. Next value? Huh? Next value? 13. Next value? Next? 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 49. Okay. Now let's say instead of 50, if I give 49 here, then you get only up to 43, not 49. It is less. Okay, it is not equal to. Starting is equal to, but ending is less. Remember that. This concept applies in multiple functions that we're going to do. Starting is always equal to, ending is always less than, up to, it's like up to, but not equal to. So it can go up to 48, but not 49. Okay. So this is going to generate numbers from 1 to 49 with decrement of 6. So you have 1, 7, 13, 19, 25, 31, 37, 43. Okay. Now if I put this in the loop, how many times loop will run? If I put this in the loop, this is going to run. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times. This is going to run 8 times. Okay. So when you have range, okay, 3 values. When you have range with 3 values, it means it is start and increment. You can have range function with just 2 values. Okay. You can have 5, 11. When you have 2 values, it means it is start and end. Increment is default. So if you see range function with 3 values, it means start, end, and increment. If you say range with just 2 values, it means you have start and end, no increment. No increment means default increment is 1. So what kind of values will it generate? 5 plus 1. Then till 10. Okay, so this will generate values from 5 till 10. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3 plus 3, 6 values it will generate. Okay, now you can have range with just one function or one value also. When you have range with one value, when you see range with just one value, it means it has only start value. Sorry, it has only end value. Sorry, it has only end value. Okay, start default equal to 0, increment equal to 1. So what do you get here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly. Okay. This is how we use range. Range can have 3 values, 2 values, or 1 value. Okay. It will have at least 1 value. It will not have more than 3 values. If 3 values are there, it knows, okay, start, end, and increment. If you want to have increment default 1, you say start and end, 2 values. Okay. If you want to have start default as 0, default counting in Python starts from 0. Okay. So if counting starts from 0, so default is 0, increment is 1, and you have ending value which is 5. So this is how you generate values. Okay. Now if you want to do print here, so okay, so we'll do print later. First, let's look at how to use in the for loop. Okay. So let me run it. Okay. Obviously, I've just given the value. I'm not using it. I'm not printing it. I'm not doing anything. Okay. Now let's do it for how to see the loop. Okay. So look at the loop using for loop using range. Okay. For loop using range. Okay. Now you can use for loop use without range also. We'll see later when we learn new stuff. We will implement in for loop, but for now we'll use only range. So this is how you write syntax. For indicates for loop, so you have to write for I or counter or any variable. Okay, so for variable in range 1 comma 49 comma 6, for variable in range 1496. Now see, when I say do it 100 times, do it 50 times, you need something that will count. So that something is this variable. Sometimes you write ij, k, single letter word. Sometimes we write counter. Okay, you can give any variable. This variable's job is to count. Okay, so this will count from 1 to the end. Okay, this is going to keep track of, okay, how many times we have to do. So if I say print variable, it will print 1, 7, 13, etc. Okay, so for is keyword to indicate you're using for loop. That's why I have to write for. Next is the counter, which is going to count how many times you are iterating. Third value is in. So yesterday when we were doing operator, I told you, right? There is one more called in. We'll do it later. Just like your plus, minus, into. It's called membership operator. Okay. In will take value from right hand side and put it on the left side. So range will generate all the 8 values together. But you don't need all the 8 values together. You want one by one. That one by one will be given to variable using in. So in will give a value, for will make sure that variable gets only one value at a time. So in will give the value and for will make sure that variable gets one value at a time. Gets one value, which is 1, performs the entire thing. Then goes back again, takes the second value, performs entire thing. Okay, so performs entire thing means whatever you write inside for loop. Okay, so here I'll say print. Okay, print hello. Okay, and you can say here hello, and I'll give this variable. Okay, now what happens when I run it? So we have two print statement, right? Line hello 1, 1, hello 7, because variable value is changing from 1 to 49 with increment of 6. Hello 13, you see, 19, 25, 19, 25, 31, 37, and 43. It stopped at 43. Okay, so it performs, it'll take one value, perform entire operation. Take second value, perform entire operation. Third value, entire operation. Fourth value, entire operation. Entire operation here is printing this line and print hello. Okay, now we will see with other range. And just to differentiate, instead of equal to, let me put like cross. And what did I say? 5, 11. So we'll say 5, 11. You see? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is printing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we will take this and okay, we'll say range 5. Okay, let me delete it. And instead of cross, let's put that dot or something. Okay, so you see, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what we said. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you can perform for loop using this. Okay, we'll see one example of while and we'll stop for today. Okay, and tomorrow we'll dedicate for loop, time for loop. Okay, so while loop, the way syntax is written is, so for loop syntax is written for, then counter in range of values, right? For while loop, it is while and condition. While true condition. So if I say while 1 equal to 2, print I am in while now. So see here, if I say while 1 equal to 2, 1 equal to 2 is true or false? False. So it will not go inside while. So when I run it, our last answer is hello 4 from for loop. Okay, it's not going inside. And if I make 1 equal to 1, then what happens? true. So while equal to true, it goes and prints the value. Again, it goes up, checks the, so condition is checked again and again. Okay, so I'm in while now, then again goes up and checks the condition. It is again true. 1 equal to 1 is true only. So what happens? It becomes infinite loop. 1 equal to 1, right? 1 equal to 1 is true, always true. So it became infinitely, it'll go on forever. So you have to force stop it. Okay. So now what I can do is I can put a condition, final count, or let's say I want to generate this, equal to this. So I'll say final, okay, final comma start equal to 5 comma 0. And what will I say? I'll say while start is less than final. So what is final? Final is 5. Start is 0. So now if I say run, it will again go into infinite loop. Why? Start is 0. Start is always 0. 0 is always less than 5, right? So what we need to do is we need to increase the value of start. I mean, while now start equal to start. If you run it, you will see start is always 0, right? That's why infinite loop. And now I'll say start equal to start plus 1. Start equal to start plus 1. So it will print 0. Now it will make start as 1. It goes up. 1 is less than 5. So it will print, comes down. Now start is 2. Goes up. 2 is less than 5. Yes. Goes in. Prints while. Now start is 3. Now start is 4. 4 is printed. When start becomes 5, that's when this condition becomes false and it will not go inside for loop. Okay, so print. That's it for today. So now when I run it here, see, I mean while now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. After printing 4, it became 5. Start equal to start plus 1. 5 goes up. 5 less than 5, false. 5 is not less than 5. The moment becomes false, you are thrown out of while loop and you come to the next main line, which is 28. And it says that's it for today. Okay. Now this start equal to start plus 1, you can write in a short notation like you put the variable and you interchange this sign plus and equal to. Equal to plus will become plus equal to 1. So start equal to start plus 1 can be written as start plus equal to. Interchange the sign and say 1. Okay. If you have to say start equal to start into something. See, whenever you have same variable, start equal to start. Okay, that's when you can do this. Okay, so out of these two variable, one is same as in which you are storing. Okay, sum equal to sum plus 5. So you can say sum plus equal to 5. Sum equal to sum into 5. So you can say sum into equal to 5. Okay, so this is how you write and you see, you get exact same output. Okay, so we'll stop here for today. Okay, let me know if